Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz Interview Series with jazz bassist and composer Scott Colley. We caught up with him in mid-April 2020 during the coronavirus lockdown in New York to talk about quite a bit, like this new world of ours, his latest 2020 CD, Angular Blues, and his career. The New York Times called him one of the leading bassists of the postbop era and a composer-bandleader of quite serious resolve. He is a 3-time Grammy nominee and has performed on over 200 recordings. He's got a great jazz bio. Enjoy.
Thanks for taking a minute out. It's an extraordinary time for everybody, and it's probably a good time to talk about music, so thanks for taking a minute out.
Oh, absolutely, man. I appreciate the opportunity. It's I definitely got time to talk, so
right on.
And I appreciate your interest.
Yeah, without a doubt. So let's talk about Angular Blues, and I want to know kind of what your feelings on this album, and now that it's out during this time of quarantine and kind of just everything that's going on in the world, kind of just get your overall thoughts on it.
Well, it's interesting. I haven't listened to it since we did it, and I just realized this morning that today was supposed to be our first concert of the tour to support that recording. So we were supposed to start on a tour today, and I think we were starting the West Coast, and we were supposed to be out for a couple weeks, and so I'm really disappointed not to be able to be with those guys and to create that music, and I'm really looking forward to the time when we can be out there doing it. But the experience of making the recording, we had done a few concerts in Japan, and that's where we recorded in Tokyo, and it was as always a great experience to play with Wolfgang and Brian, just amazing friends that I've known for a really long time, and obviously great musicians and just great people to be with. And we did the concerts, and then we just went into the studio for a single day in Tokyo last year, and it went by real quick. the process.
Everything began for you in Los Angeles, and at 11, the bass was your instrument. Talk to me a little bit about how jazz became your path. My older brother is 6 years older than I. He's a drummer, still plays the drums. He's an electronics engineer by trade now. But he was playing jazz in the high school big band, which I grew up in Los Angeles in a part of Los Angeles called Eagle Rock, and there was a high school called Eagle Rock High School, and it was a combined junior high and high school. And they had this amazing band director named John Rinaldo, who, at a time when they were cutting everything in Los Angeles in terms of funding for arts, he was doing fundraisers and kept this band program alive. And so my brother grew up in that, and then I would go to the concerts and listen to them, and then I started in 7th grade playing through that same program. Early on, it was listening to a lot of recordings that my brother gave me, cassettes and LPs at the time. And I'm looking at the very first LP that he bought me when I was 11 for my birthday, Thelonious Monk Underground, because I liked the cover. And it's an amazing cover of Thelonious, if you could look it up. And so that's kind of how I got started through that process. You've been around for a long time, made a lot of recordings, and lots of activity in your career. What's been the key to your longevity? I
don't know. For sure,
there's an element that I've always been aware of, that to not get too stuck on preconceptions about what to study and what to focus on. I'll always have a direction and ways that I study and areas that I'll go into musically. But maybe the longevity part is just trying to get used to the change is always going to happen. Obviously, what's going on right now is, with the pandemic and everything, is right in the center of my mind in that regard, that you never know what's going to happen, and you plan for things, and you focus on projects, and surprises will always come, and change and different things will always happen. So maybe that's how I've managed to weather all these years of, especially in terms of being a professional musician, and I think it's really important just to allow things to take their course, and to not try and control everything, and trying to move, and also be very open to opportunities when they do come, so that things that you thought were going to happen, like when I'm thinking back, it's like a lot of opportunities that came up were things that I did not expect that were going to happen. And then just being ready to jump into those roles as I see fit. Like I went to California Institute of the Arts, for example, and that was something I was just getting ready to move to New York, and somebody had told me about an audition, and that Charlie Hayden was teaching there, and then I just went and auditioned, even though I just kind of wanted to meet Charlie, and I was just going to move on from there. And then that ended up being a direction that I never really expected, and I was open to taking advantage of that opportunity. And then during that time, there was an audition with Carmen McRae, and that ended up being a 4-year opportunity for me to play with her, and then to move to New York. And through that experience, meeting Jim Hall and other musicians, Pat Metheny and other people early on at that time. I guess the point being is that just to go into making music with an open mind, and to take advantage of the situations when they exist, because they only exist for that time. And the important thing is to try and stay really present in the moment, and to be ready for those opportunities when they come.
Tell me, what is the best part of being a professional musician?
The best part about being a musician, any musician, is in my mind to communicate with other people, and to create situations so that you have a chance to connect with people from very different backgrounds, and to have experiences that you wouldn't otherwise have. And that's something that music has done for me. There's no way I could have imagined at 11 or 12 years old the kind of experiences that I've had in my life, and to travel all over the world, and to communicate, make music, and have personal connections with all these amazing people from all over the world. So for me, that's core to why I make music.
Well, one of the things that I think is key to having discussions now with musicians is about what's going on in our world. It's a very unique realm that we're all living in right now. My question is, from both a musician and a audience standpoint, what do you hope that we realize, or what revelations do you hope we get, so that when we all do get back to live music, what do you hope we all realize from this time?
That's a big question, but I think central to what I've been thinking about is the importance of taking care of one another, and also the realization that we're all connected, and we're all connected whether an individual wants to believe that or not. It's whether you embrace it or reject it. It doesn't matter. We're all in this this world together, and we need to take care of each other. And obviously, on some very practical levels, it hits you in the face every day. You can't go and just jump on a plane, and you can't go anywhere you want, and you have to really reach out and connect with other people in some really unusual ways that we're very fortunate to have technology to be even able to have this conversation and connect with people on Zoom and other platforms in the ways that we have to now for the time being. But we really have to make an effort to take care of each other and realize that we're all in the same boat.
Absolutely. So my final question to you is this. Everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, and your fans, but you're living your life. So tell me, who do you think you are?
I'm still learning who I am as a person, and all of those things that you mentioned. I'm married, and I have a daughter, and I play music, and I do all these things that kind of, in a surface way, define who I am as an individual. But I'm still, searching through music, through personal relationships, through everything to figure out who I am. And so I'm going to leave that as an open question that I'm going to keep working to figure out.
Well, hey, man, thank you for taking a minute out. I know it's a pretty extraordinary time in our lives and in jazz, and stay safe and good luck with everything.
Hey, appreciate it, Joe, and thanks for reaching out.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest cats in Los Angeles, New York City, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Scott for his time, music, and stories. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com. And for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.